Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome aboard. I am Alexandra, and today, everybody, I am here to do a job update. So for those of you that don't know, I did a video similar to this last year, which I cannot believe it's almost been a year. But basically, I am here to tell you guys I got a new job. I know some of you might be shocked, some of you may not be, in case you've never seen a video from me. But I'm giving you guys a little rundown on the reason why I got a new job. So let's go all the way back to June of this year. So June 17th, so 5 weeks ago, just about, was my last day at my bus monitor job. So basically I worked, I had some days off, obviously, just like everybody else, but obviously I had to take some time off in between, just a little bit, for family reasons and, other stuff. But basically, that being said, I finished up for the last day of the school year, which I'm proud of, because I came such a long way. I personally cannot believe I lasted that long, because I have a history of not lasting very long in jobs, and I'll be honest, it's because of my mental health, and because of that, I've never lasted more than a year in any job I've ever had. I've only lasted 11 and a half months. That was like the longest I've lasted with any other job I've had. Anything else was either a few months, a couple months, or weeks. Nothing to even a year. But that being said, my dispatch, when I was getting ready to leave the day before my last day as a bus monitor, my dispatch had to ask every monitor / aide if they wanted to volunteer to work during the summer. And the drivers can do the same thing, but for the monitors, they will check in. Either my boss or my dispatch will reach out to the monitors to see if they're willing to work. Sometimes they don't need us at all, so sometimes they just put us down just in case they need us, but they only put us down if for some reason an aide is out. Now, basically, the aides are known as the special needs monitors. Basically, the big buses are the ones who really need like the monitors, but they don't necessarily need us. Like if we're out sick or something, then the drivers can go without a monitor. Whereas with special needs kids, they're the ones with aides, and they always need an aide for special needs regardless. They got their driver, but if the aide is out and they don't have enough aides, then they contact the monitors, and they go down a list, which is known as a roster, and they go down that to see if anyone's willing to work for that aide if they're out. Now, I have done that before. It's not like I've never done that before. But this summer, I'm not going to lie, I haven't even been working at all. But my dispatch did mention that sometimes the monitors don't get called at all. So if we don't get in and work, my boss mentioned we could try to do unemployment. So basically, the day after my last day at the bus company, I tried to apply for unemployment. My caseworker had been helping me for pretty much about 2 to 3 weeks at that point. Just about 2.5 weeks, something like that. And of course, I knew there was going to be a time I wasn't going to get it right away, only because I personally had never filed for unemployment. I've tried to apply for, getting my account set up, things like that, but never did I try to apply for payments from unemployment. But basically, that being said, I will be honest, for those of you that also don't know much about me, I have a learning disability, and certain things I do not do well with. Like, I don't understand certain concepts. Some things that are explained to me, I just don't understand it very well. So sometimes I have to have someone explain it the best that I can acknowledge it. But even that, sometimes I forget it. And it just really depends what it is. It depends on the situation and all that. Well, anyway, so my caseworker's been out with her family, family leave, whatever you want to call it. And she's been out for the last couple weeks, and she's finally coming back. As much as I am happy that she's having time with her family, I'm just ready for her to come back in a way. But that being said, basically, I just found out the week after she went out. I tried to do it myself. And I know I have some of my coworkers that I work with at the bus company. They are willing to help if I need help. Same with my shop steward. She says, if you need me, even though I'm working during the summer, you can help me out. I can help you out. Now, my shop steward used to be a driver. She used to be a bus driver before she became a shop steward. Now, the shop steward is always there for you. Like, the shop steward can give you like some advice. She can be there in case you have a problem. She can come in with you, with the boss, as well. But that being said, I just thought I tried doing a little bit by myself, but then I had a few other monitors try to help me out. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was difficult. They helped me the best they could, and I appreciated that so much. I even told them that I thanked them for helping me, and I just went on and tried to see what would happen next. But that being said, I found out as of last Tuesday that I was denied for unemployment. And I basically just didn't apply that week because I'm waiting for a notice to come in from unemployment to see why. Now, even though I'm still employed as a monitor / aide, but because I'm not working, my boss recommends anyone who's not working right now to file for unemployment regardless. But because I'm thinking I misread something, or I didn't understand it or something, that could be why. But it also could be because of something else. I was thinking it could have been because I hadn't worked enough at the bus company or something like that. Because from what I heard from my boss, now I asked my boss this as well before I even spoke with unemployment. And from what I've heard from both unemployment and my boss, because I talked to unemployment, I talked to someone from unemployment on this Monday, so 2 days ago, and then I talked to my boss right after. And it could be because I haven't worked enough at the bus company to maybe also qualify for it. It could be something like that, but I'm not sure. But that being said, I'm still going to try to reapply. Luckily, the unemployment specialist who I spoke with on the phone said they can try to get me to reapply again this weekend, so I can try to do it again and then see what happens. And if I need help again, I can call them up again, or I can ask my shop steward or anyone else I know that can maybe help me out and maybe explain it to me if I need help. I know you guys are probably going to be wondering, because I was denied, did I try to appeal my case? Now, I can actually appeal. So the thing is, how it's going to work, from what I'm understanding correctly, I will have to have a call, probably a Zoom call at some point, with probably someone from either unemployment or some other specialist. And then my boss from First Student is going to be in it, and then I'm going to be in it. And from there, we're just going to see roughly to see if I meet the criteria or because I haven't worked enough. So my boss obviously knows I haven't worked with the job very long. I've only been with the job less than a year. So it could be because of that or something else. And it goes by quarters as well, because I may have not worked enough quarters to maybe get up to what they're looking for from unemployment. I also found out, because from unemployment, they told me because I'm on SSDI, which I did mention, I'm on Social Security disability income. Because last year I was diagnosed with level 1 autism, and I was also diagnosed with ADHD. Not to mention I've had other mental health problems since prior to those diagnoses. And because of that, I qualified for, originally I qualified for both Social Security income and Social Security disability income. I had both of those gave me money from the state when I was not working at the time. Well, last year, after my husband and I got married, I lost half of my income because I also went by his income. So I got cut off from Social Security income, so I was only getting half of what I was making before. So what I made in total before we were married, I lost half of it. Now I'm losing Social Security disability income. Now, I know you guys are probably going to ask too. You guys are probably going to ask me too, why did you get married then? My husband and I had been wanting to get married. You know, we already had it planned out, you know, and everything. So it doesn't matter. But besides the point, it happens, you know, life happens, things come up and, you know, whatever. But I mean, regardless, my husband and I we were getting by the best we were, you know, despite me not working. I was able to, you know, help him out with the bills, you know, because my contribution, we split the rent. I pay one other bill, he pays the other last bit of the bills. And because of that, we've been doing pretty well, you know, up to this point, we've been doing very well. And after I found out what was going on with unemployment and not getting money at all, even from my disability income, it's been a process. But basically, it's been a time where, you know, my husband's been the only one working, and to my contribution, I wasn't even able to help at all, which was hard. I did admit to my husband and I felt guilty. I told him I was sorry, I wasn't helping enough, blah, blah, blah. And he has been very understanding. He gets it. I work when I work. And he says, we're just getting by the best we can. We'll get by, we'll get through this, everything like that. And I appreciated that so much. Now, that being said, I'm losing my Social Security disability income. I'm losing it because my job at First Student, so that's the company I work for. It's called First Student, which is the bus company I work for. They have other ones throughout different parts of the country where I live. It's not in every state and not in every town. My son goes to school in the same state we live in. I just work in a different school district than he goes, and they call it a whole different name. They don't even call his buses. The buses that pick him up, they call it the buses itself. They don't call it First Student. They call it a different name. They changed it. It's no longer First Student. It's a different name now. And basically, that being said, my dispatch mentioned that we were getting a raise. All the drivers, the bus drivers exactly, and the monitors / aides were all getting a raise starting August 1st of this year. Now, my caseworker did mention to me if I did try to get another job or if I got a raise from First Student, I was probably going to lose my disability. Already, I was a little worried about that, but at the same time, I'm actually getting reimbursed all the money that I've been trying to get back from my disability income, from Social Security. From that being said, I'm getting back the money that they owe me. It's just been a process because, you know, it's the government. They're going to take some time. No offense to any of you who are working for the government. Just saying. But that being said, I am slowly getting that back. Thank goodness. But that being said, every employee, like I said, at First Student got a raise. And that being said, because of the raise, it got a little past what my caseworker had told me. If I were to get around that amount or something like that, or a little past that, something like that, I'd lose my disability income. And it also goes by how many hours a week I work. Now, I'm just hoping I get this reimbursement as soon as possible. As far as I know, I should be getting it soon. If not, I got to go back to where I heard this stuff from and talk to them why it's taking so long. So that being said, at least slowly I'm getting the money back. Whatever I've left from disability, that I'm going to get back, because after that I won't get anything else from the state anymore. So it is what it is, but you know, it happens. Life, you know, has so many, you know, curveballs, I'm not going to lie. But that being said, so when I found out I was denied from unemployment, I already told my husband, I was like, as much as it hurts me to say this, but I need to find something else, because I didn't even know if I was going to get called in during the summer. It wasn't until recently when I spoke with my dispatch if we were going to even, between my dispatch and my boss herself, I wasn't even sure if I was even going to have enough to even live off of, if I was going to get anything at all. But unfortunately, because I was not going to get really much at all, I said I need to find something else, because I just knew I needed to find another job. Because I said I just can't live off like this. Like, it's not fair to my husband, it's not fair to myself. And as much as, like I said before, my husband is very understanding when it comes to, we'll just get by and we'll get through this, you know, and everything, I still felt like it wasn't fair to him to just do everything on his own. Because when I was still a stay-at-home mom, when our son was like a baby, I was getting paid from the state and I was able to afford being at home and all that. But now that, you know, we have me back at work, I'm able to actually help out even more than I could in the past. So that being said, I decided I'm just going to find another job and see if they'll even anything will take me. My husband says if they do, then that's wonderful. If not, at least you have your other job back at the bus company that you'll go back to when school starts up again. Well, that being said, I called up a few jobs, not very many, because honestly, I just didn't have that kind of ambition, I guess. Like, I had some ambition, but not enough where I was like, I'm going to call tens to 20,000, hundreds of jobs. I'm just putting that out there as an example. But I didn't want to call it that many, to be exact. Not to mention, I had to make sure it was something I could work out and do while my husband was at work, because roughly I wanted to try to do something while my husband was still at home before he would go to work. And then maybe if he was already at work, I would do something while someone else in the family or, family friend or somebody could watch Logan, because Logan is 5 years old. Our son Logan is 5. And I didn't want to leave Logan for a long period of time. I'd rather, the best thing about the bus company, for instance, when I still do that, I work around that, like a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon. So I would work the mornings, and my husband and my sister-in-law would take turns getting Logan ready for school. Like, my sister-in-law would do it once a week, and then the rest of the remainder of the week, my husband would do it in the mornings because he wouldn't be there. He would be here. I wouldn't be here. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be here, but my sister-in-law would come in on Tuesday mornings when my husband before he would go to work, and then she'd come in before he leaves. And then Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, my husband would be home in the mornings to get Logan on the bus. And then now that Logan is starting kindergarten in a couple months, which, please, I'm not ready for my baby to go to kindergarten. It's come so fast. That being said, I am proud of him. But that being said, too, I'm proud because once I go back to this other job, I'll be able to work while he's in school, and he's going to be in school all day. Plus, I'm getting him into an after-school program that he can be in for a little bit once I finish up my shift at my other job. And then once I get done, I can pick him up from the program. Simple. And then same with my husband. When the days my husband gets off early, same thing. My husband can do it too. But anyway, that being said, so I only called up maybe 2 or 3 jobs to see if they were hiring. And that being said, I heard back from one of them. They said, unfortunately, they couldn't take me. Another one couldn't take me because of my experience. Logan, say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Look.
Oh, I got some coins.
Logan's playing a game, just letting you guys know.
I get.
So, like I said, that being said, I had to call up a couple jobs. One wouldn't take me because I couldn't work that amount of hours. And 2, the other one, because I didn't have a lot of experience, I couldn't do it. But yeah, so anyway, so when I finally decided I would find another one was willing to do me, but only at nights. And I couldn't do the nights because it would be more of the nights that my husband would be working, and that's just would not work out, especially with Logan, having school. It would be on days like Logan would have to be up for school the next day. And unfortunately, that would not work out. So I said no to that one. It wasn't going to work out. And when I called again, they said that position wasn't even available. So, oh well. But I said, I'm going to give another chance, maybe one last place an option. But I applied for one job, and I applied to them, and then I checked back with them within no time, and they told me within a day or 2 when I called them back if I submitted an application, and they said, would you like to come in for an interview? And I got to choose between the days, and I said, whatever day I come in, I'll come in for that. And they were perfect to work for that for me. So yeah, I ended up going for the interview with the assistant manager. To me, it went well. I wasn't trying to get my hopes up, but it went well. And basically, he told me within about a week I would know what was going to happen. Because I told, during the interview, I explained to him, everything that was going on and everything. Because, I wanted to be personal and explain what was going on. He completely understood. He understood completely. Him and his girlfriend had actually been in the same kind of position. So he completely understood. which I find wonderful, and that I felt like I wasn't alone. That's why I felt wonderful, that I wasn't alone. But that being said, within 2 days, I called back because I knew this month had been so hard for my husband and I, and, you know, because like I said, we're the ones who pay the bills. Obviously, Logan's too young, so we're not going to have Logan do it. Logan doesn't really quite understand, which I understand, you know, he's a 5-year-old, so I don't expect him to understand right now. But yeah, within 2 days, I called up again and I asked if I could come back in and try to talk to management again. And they said, yeah, that's fine. You can, if you want to come in, that's fine. I mean, the manager itself, he said he was going to be leaving, but the assistant manager was going to be in if I wanted to talk with him. Now, the regular manager is the one who does the schedule and all that. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. You can either talk to me or talk to your assistant manager, you know, if you get the job. Yours, to be exact, he said, if you get the job, that'll be your assistant manager. And then I would be your manager. But basically, so I went back in. I was only there like 5 minutes, and he told me he would see what he could do. And he said, check back with me in like 2 days, and we'll go from there. So I was just getting home when all of a sudden I was getting a phone call. And it was from the assistant manager who I had just spoken with. And I was thinking, that was a fast 2 days. Of course, I didn't say that out loud, but I thought that, okay? But he asked me my availability. So I, you know, told him my availability and what I could what I could do while my husband's home. And then while he's at work, I can maybe do a little bit until, you know, the days he's off, things like that. Or if there's days that possibly that family or family friends, you know, things like that, could watch Logan for a little bit until I get off, which wouldn't be super late. But anyway, let's continue. So that being said, he said, let me call you back within a few minutes. And yes, that's a trampoline. It's a mini trampoline. Logan will play with it sometimes. Just in case anyone's curious what the heck that is over there. Just saying. Anyway, so within 5 minutes, I get a call back from the assistant manager, and he tells me I got it. I was pumped. I was so excited and proud and just felt so relieved. He told me, you know, maybe a day I can come in to do paperwork, and then from there we'll see what we could do when we can get you in for training. So yeah, I have not done training yet. Just so you guys want to know how it's going, if I've started the job or anything like that. So I did the paperwork last week, and I went in actually yesterday to figure out when I can start coming, just to check in to see when I should start, you know, when they think I can start training. Thankfully, I start tomorrow. So I actually start tomorrow, and I hope it goes well. I hope for the best. I'm just going to take it day by day. This is just something, like I said, it's a second job, but I know how busy I'm going to be. But in the long run, I know this, for however long I'm with this job for, I will do whatever I can do to provide for my husband and I and our little boy as well. But it's just the smallest things. And I honestly could not be more thankful that I'm given this opportunity. And thankfully, they're able to work around what I can try to do now until I go back to my bus monitor job. Now, in case you guys are wondering, does my job at the bus company know? Yes, they are aware. I told them that I'm going to try my best to make the bus company my main job. And then the second job is just something as a side job. It'll be still a second job, but I'll try to work it probably 2 to 3 days a week, if that's a possibility, because I already know if I do 5 days, or probably 5 days exactly, I don't know if I could handle doing all that. At least during, right now, when I have to work at the bus company 5 days a week, and not to mention, you know, I want to do it on days when I know, I can hopefully have my husband home with me and that he's able to watch Logan, and maybe times when Logan's with other family members, you know, if he's watched by other family members or having time with them, then I can work it then. But that being said, I am so relieved and so grateful for this opportunity. And I'll keep you guys posted how it goes. I'll give you guys an update, just let you guys know how it's going. And if anything changes, I'll obviously let you guys know too. So stay tuned and wish me luck. Alright, you guys, so that's it for today's video. Sorry this video was very, very long, longer than I expected, but I just wanted to give you guys that whole rundown because it's been a lot. It's definitely, this month has been by far very, very much a lot for, like what I said, my husband and I. So just be on the lookout for more videos to come when I can. As always, I will keep you guys posted how it goes, like I said before. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have any experiences working 2 jobs or more while being a wife and also a parent. I will admit, I have not worked this much, like 2 jobs wise, back to back like this, since I was pregnant with Logan. And I only did that for a short time. So like I said before in the beginning of the video, I never worked any job longer than a year. Any job I've ever lasted, which was my very first job, for those of you who have watched me before and you knew about that very first job, let's just say, with any job I've had in the past, the longest I've ever lasted was 11.5 months. That's it. Everything else was not as long because of mental health and just, yeah. All right, you guys, but I'm not letting my mental health get to me. So obviously I'm just doing the best I can now and getting the help for it. All right, you guys, well, take care. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.